Greatness found her early, but peace arrived very late. Beyoncé entered performance at an age when most children are still discovering who they are without judgment or audience. Talent separated her from normal life before she ever fully experienced it. Practice replaced play, repetition replaced rest, and discipline replaced spontaneity. Childhood became preparation for excellence instead of a season of innocence. The world did not wait for her to grow gently, it demanded results immediately. Applause arrived early, but emotional safety stayed distant. Every win raised the bar higher instead of providing comfort. Mistakes were judged harshly because perfection was expected. Identity formed under pressure instead of patience. Responsibility arrived before freedom ever could. Even youth began to feel like a professional obligation rather than a personal phase. When you become a brand, rest becomes a risk. Beyoncé evolved from performer into a global enterprise where every breath carried business impact. Expression became strategy instead of pure creativity. Silence was read as weakness. Activity was read as dominance. The pressure to lead expanded beyond music into culture and public identity. She was expected to inspire without pause and evolve without instability. Authority had to appear flawless because doubt invited attack. The body asked for rest while the machine demanded production. Reinvention stopped being a creative choice and became survival requirement. Every pause felt like potential loss. Power increased responsibility instead of easing it. Control became protection in an environment that rarely forgives hesitation. When the world claims your relationship, intimacy becomes performance. Beyoncé's marriage unfolded under global attention that never allowed ordinary conflict or healing. Personal pain became cultural conversation. Emotional wounds were processed through lyrics before they could be processed in silence. Forgiveness was analyzed instead of respected. Trust had to survive not only private damage but public interference. Silence became suspicious. Privacy became political. Growth happened under commentary instead of calm. The heart learned resilience in front of an audience that never blinked. Intimacy had to survive exposure rather than protection. The relationship carried the burden of millions of opinions alongside personal responsibility every single day. Strength celebrated too loudly often hides the deepest fatigue. Beyoncé's public image transformed into a symbol of power that allowed little room for visible vulnerability. Weakness felt dangerous in a world addicted to perfection. Anxiety hid behind immaculate preparation. Exhaustion hid behind flawless execution. The pressure to remain pristine never turned off. Emotional strain was carried quietly beneath unbreakable composure. The price of being a symbol meant rarely being allowed to be fragile. Even rest had to be justified by achievement. The mind learned endurance before it learned softness. Inner survival became as important as outer dominance. The higher you rise, the quieter companionship becomes. Beyoncé reached a plane of success where peers became few and trust became selective. Ordinary friendships became difficult under extraordinary presence. Connection required caution. Privacy became necessity rather than comfort. The world celebrated her loudly while the emotional world stayed guarded. Distance became a tool for self-preservation. The crown brought authority but demanded isolation in return. Power widened the space between her and normalcy. The top offered influence, but it also demanded solitude as its hidden cost. When the physique becomes the introduction, the person is forced to wait. Chris Hemsworth entered global stardom first through his physical image and only later through emotional recognition. The world learned his strength before it learned his insecurities. The body became the brand long before the mind was allowed complexity. Roles arrived shaped by muscles more than vulnerability. Applause followed power before depth had space to grow. The mirror turned into a professional requirement instead of a personal reflection. Discipline stopped being a choice and became survival. The demand to remain physically exceptional never truly rested. Every transformation raised expectations instead of easing them. Strength became routine rather than achievement. The man behind the image had to negotiate space to exist beside the symbol. Fame does not arrive gently when it arrives all at once. Chris moved from relative anonymity to worldwide recognition in a single leap. Privacy didn't slowly fade, it collapsed instantly. Ordinary routines vanished without preparation. Familiar spaces became public territory overnight. Expectations expanded faster than emotional adjustment could keep up. The world demanded confidence before uncertainty was allowed to exist. Identity had to stabilize under a pressure that never slowed down. Relationships shifted under the weight of exposure. Fame reshaped daily life, choices, and self-perception all at once. The transition never felt gradual, it felt immediate and irreversible. Normality disappeared without giving closure. When the spotlight enters the home, even quiet moments change shape. Chris's personal life unfolded beneath global curiosity that rarely slept. Protection stopped being instinct and became daily responsibility. Parenthood carried joy along with constant awareness of attention. Balance between work and home demanded continuous defense. Silence became strategy rather than rest. Distance became protection rather than coldness. The personal world had to be guarded instead of freely lived. Ordinary family moments carried invisible pressure. Stability required intention instead of assumption. Home stopped being just a place and became a shield. Privacy turned into something that had to be actively preserved. Being seen as unbreakable leaves very little room to be human. Chris carried expectations of physical dominance along with emotional toughness. Fatigue learned to hide behind humor. Doubt learned to hide behind confidence. Weakness felt like betrayal of the image the world expected him to maintain. The industry rewarded invincibility, not uncertainty. Pressure stayed constant even in moments of success. Emotional vulnerability became a private battle fought away from cameras. The responsibility of appearing powerful grew heavier with time. Strength stopped being something he displayed and became something he was required to embody. Rest felt like risk in a world that only praised momentum. When your legacy is built on strength, time slowly becomes the rival. Chris faced the silent anxiety of aging within a body-driven career identity. The industry that celebrated physical perfection demanded constant renewal. Physical limits whispered while expectations shouted. The fear of slowing down competed with the need for longevity. Adaptation became survival skill instead of creative evolution. Relevance demanded reinvention beyond muscles alone. The future required a version of success not dependent only on physical power. Time challenged what strength once protected effortlessly. Identity began shifting from dominance toward endurance. The fight changed form but never truly ended.